Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Comic Source Comic Boom collaboration. We're here to talk about War of the Amazons. We're up to part number 3. Just like War for Earth 3, if you listen to our standalone episode for that, this is a standalone for Amazon, Trial of the Amazons part 3. All the rest of the books will be in the regular DC Spotlight. Again, the first week of Trial of the Amazons, we got 2. Again, it's just mirroring War for Earth 3. We got 2 big issues for part 1, part 2, and even though there wasn't a ton of action, there was a lot of political intrigue, and it kind of hooked me. And now, I don't know how you feel, Rocky, but I felt this way to some extent with War for Earth 3, part 3, but less so because we got plenty of other non-Earth 3 Flash storyline stuff, so I didn't mind it. But this issue of Wonder Woman is all Trial of the Amazons. We don't get anything but Trial of the Amazons, except for the backup with young Wonder Woman and how that feels so wildly different in tone. We have talked about many times. But again, we have an issue that doesn't have a lot of action. And I question DC front loading the first week of these events with 2 chapters and then following it up with a single chapter. It feels like, I don't know, maybe they're given a big, 2 chapters the first week to try to hook people, and then it's going to slowly trickle out. Like, I don't know. And again, having the 3rd chapter and we still don't get much action, I don't know if this is working for me. What do you think?
Yeah, it isn't really working for me either. I will give props when I say that it's dealing Vita Ayala, Stephanie Williams, Joelle Jones, Clunrad. They're all dealing with big ideas, and they're thinking big. There's so much potential here about the idea of a contest to guard Doom's doorway. It's a doorway to hell, protecting humanity from what might leak out the door, and having this contest, and then the queen of the winning tribe member that becomes the champion of Doom's doorway will become queen of all the Amazons, the Esquisita, the Banamagdal, and the Themysciran Amazons. And so on the surface, when I say it that way, when anyone says it that way, it kind of sounds kind of cool. And in this issue, we do get this. I think this guy's a member of the Eco tribe or Inco, because we saw him in the Wonder Woman annual.
Yep.
Yeah, I forget it. Do you remember his name? I can't remember his name.
I don't remember his name.
But he's from a race of almost like a quasi-human alien race that has a claim to the land upon which Themyscira is based. So I think what's interesting about that is, I think where we're going with this is not only unbeknownst to the Amazons, this individual who's watching, he's not only are we concerned about a contest, about the winner guarding Doom's doorway, and about who's going to be the queen of the Amazons, but there's a potential invasion from another race that we know Wonder Woman met the leader of in the Wonder Woman annual, and Wonder Woman hasn't even said anything to Nubia about it. And, and this sort of, you're right that this is a little bit slower pace. Now, this issue, maybe it picks up a little bit, I suppose, but we still have an awful lot of talking heads, not a lot of progression. We've got Wonder Woman being Wonder Woman. Obviously, finally we see some emotion from Wonder Woman, which I would have thought we should have got last issue right at the funeral. But here Diana, Wonder Woman, is speaking to Nubia. She's crying, and she's, of course, you and I joked. I mean, I quite enjoyed our last review of the first 2 chapters, because we kind of had some fun here joking about how these Amazons, we know that Amazons are wise and brilliant and vibrant and not only beautiful, but very intelligent women. But we're kind of like teasing because we're not really seeing kind of the wisdom here and the strategy and the tactical thinking. And here Wonder Woman wants to, as we joked, of course she wants to use the magic lasso. Somebody killed her mother, Hippolyta, former queen. I mean, why not use the magic lasso? But yet here's Nubia trying to convince her, not to use the lasso, and you predicted it right that obviously the Banamagdal and the Esquisita tribe, they're pissed off at the whole thing. And Queen Faruka, she's kind of a bitch. She wants, you could tell she basically wants to be queen. Here we have Donna Troy steps up to the plate. She wants to fight for she wants to fight for the, I think, the Esquisita, I believe, or she joined the she joined the Banner McDowell.
Anna McDowell, yeah.
Banner McDowell. Like, this is really weird. Like, Wonder Girl Cassie Sandsmark seemed to be on the Esquisita side. Donna Troy. What on earth is possessing Donna Troy to? Where's this motivation coming from? This is completely out of the blue. A complete deviation. Donna Troy's never shown an affiliation or an affinity toward the Banner McDowell that I'm aware of. I happily stand to be corrected. People can correct me in the chat or who are listening. But anyways, it's a little bit surprising. Like, for as much of the build-up and setup of character-wise that we've been getting in this series, a lot of this stuff seems to be out of the blue, and the stuff that really interests me, because I would actually be very interested to know why on earth Donna Troy would want to join the Banner McDowell. I'd be kind of interested to know that. It goes on. We get more information about the Esquisita tribe, and we find out who the queen of the Esquisita tribe is. She couldn't make it, so she appoints Yara Flor. We find out in the 3rd chapter that's what she's doing. Meanwhile, the Doom's doorway is cracking. And what's interesting here is that you'd think this would be a really big deal. I mean, Doom's doorway is cracking and they haven't found a champion yet. But what's really odd here, and you and I mentioned it last time, and everybody, every reviewer, every critic of this series is saying the same thing. We're all asking, why do you only want one person guarding Doom's doorway? In this scene, we already have 3 Amazons very clearly guarding Doom's doorway. And Doom's doorway has already been cracked open now. So what's the point of having a contest? Isn't it kind of a moot point? Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems kind of like a very odd thing to do. So they're going to continue the contest. I mean, and last issue we had a cat, this called Nyx, sneak out of the Doom's doorway. And Nyx is kind of a bad omen. And it just seems very odd. We got representatives from all the tribes witnessing Doom's doorway crack open, and they still want to proceed with the contest. It just seems that their priorities are a little bit misplaced. And I am excited to see where this is going to go. I'm excited to see who's going to win the contest and everything else, but it still seems a little off-putting to me. And a lot of pointless scenes, I think, far too much talk, far too much dialogue. We should be having more action. And then what really frustrated me at the end, and it actually kind of annoyed me, is Diana shows up at the end and says that I'm going to fight. I am beholden to none, a champion for no tribe, but for all Amazons. Well, we had a full specific page. I'm telling what the rules were for this. Each tribe must appoint a representative, and that's what they did. We got Yara Flor, we got Philippus representing Themyscira, and we got Donna Troy representing the Banner McDowell. And now, but there's also another rule that says any Amazon can fight. Well, apparently now Wonder Woman's going to fight for everyone. Well, if Wonder Woman wins, who's going to be queen? Like, how does that affect that rule? Because, I mean, I know, because if Wonder Woman fights for no one, does she get to be queen if Wonder Woman wins? Like, it just seems to me, this seems so wishy-washy, the rules here. It's a little frustrating to me that, I guess anyone can join, but, well, how does that affect the rules about the monarchy? Anyways, it just seems really odd to me. And just a quick aside, in the 2nd chapter, Nubia made a comment that also kind of, and I'm nitpicking, she goes, we're going to do this democratically. We're going to decide on what the outcome's we're going to decide on what the rule is. And she mentioned the word Democrat. And I'm thinking to myself, you're Themyscira, and you're saying that you're going to decide something democratically. Why? You're a monarchy. I mean, you're apart from a monarchy. Themyscira is different, and it should be different. It should be portrayed differently. Little thing. It also, there was one character in the 2nd chapter mentioned the word corporations world, made a reference to man's world as corporation world. They might as well call it corporation world. And I thought that felt so out of place. It's just weird. I know what she meant, because we have a lot of corporations in the world, but it just seems a little bit out of place. Anyways, I feel that this story is getting eaten up by a lot of beautiful women talking to each other, and there's just not enough action, and I don't feel a lot of the momentum building like I was hoping. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why we're in the third chapter and we still don't have action. Like, two of the three people that were guarding Doom's doorway are killed, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Yarima and Rhea,
Yeah.
Rhea, and Io is uh, severely wounded to the point that she's unconscious. They don't know when she'll wake up.
Yeah.
Like, so to your point, yeah, maybe you should have more than one person guarding. Maybe you should have a whole battalion guarding Doom's doorway. But Doom's doorway cracking and whatever comes through and fighting these three uh, Amazonians that were guarding it, that's the action, and it all happens off panel. It all happens off panel in this issue. We see it cracking open, um, and then from one page to the next the following morning. So it all happens off panel. So it's really frustrating. Um, the whole thing with Wonder Woman's lasso, yeah, saw that coming a mile away. Um, but it is interesting. Wonder Woman Diana gives in on that, and then she turns around at the end of this issue, and now she's going to try something different. Oh, I'm going to fight for all Amazons. I actually enjoyed that because I don't really care that much about the rules, whatever. The fact of the matter is they're Amazons, and this is Themyscira, and they can make whatever rules they want and change them whenever, for whatever reason. At the end of the day, so if they all agree to let Wonder Woman fight, then she can fight. And if they don't, she doesn't. I mean, who's to say? Because she wanted to use her lasso on everybody, and that didn't work out. So she could get turned down. But I do like the idea because it goes it kind of solves a problem that I had right from the start of this, which is, these are all immortal women that are, powerful and formidable and very capable. And instead of banding together and fighting their common enemies, they're sniping at each other. And so, I like the idea that, maybe if Wonder Woman can be the champion for all, it will in some way unite them, because at the end of the day, they all should be living on Themyscira and they all should be getting along. And I know that can be kind of boring in terms of telling a dramatic story, because you have to have some kind of conflict. But I'm not a fan of having the conflict exist between the tribes, although I understand historically and from a narrative point of view why you'd want to do that. And the fact that they haven't introduced any other antagonist yet, except for whatever mysteriously came through Doom's doorway. It's like, well, how else are you going to get dramatic tension but to pit these women against each other? Because you haven't given us any other enemies yet.
That's exactly
We have
right.
zero clues about who might be behind the death of Hippolyta. Although I still think my theory holds water that she did it to herself, poisoned herself because she's trying to bring the tribes together. Which here's her daughter trying to bring the tribes together in a different way.
Well,
So
yeah. Another theory though, it could be that white skin guy who was in the annual. His
yeah,
people may have orchestrated this guy here.
Altoum is this,
Right.
Altoum the survivor.
Altoum the
Uh,
survivor, yes.
yeah,
Prime suspect
which
number one.
before we found out that there was going to be a murder that kicked us all off, this is what we thought was that okay, it's going to be kind of the Amazons on trial in terms of should they be allowed to be the ones that are in control of Paradise Island, because apparently this guy Altoum and his people were there before, and they were they were forced out of by the Amazons. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this is not moving along as fast as I would like it to, and it's just frustrating that there were some events here that said, "Hey, there's gonna be some big action, Amazon's fighting big monsters or whatever it came up through Doom's doorway," and it all happens off panel between pages. Really frustrating. So yeah, hopefully more action next time. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, don't have much else to say than that. I thought the art was solid. Um, the backup was again very very different in tone. I like the young Wonder Woman stories, but I just question putting them in the back of you got a really serious story with Trial of the Amazons Part 3 in the first, and the backup is completely different. So we should also give the creative team, I just realized we didn't, Michael W. Conrad and Becky Cloonan as writers, Rosie Campe is the artist, Tamara Bonvillain on colors, Pat Broso on letters. So yeah, it's not terrible, but man, if you haven't been following along with Wonder Woman, if you haven't been reading Nubia and the Amazons, the regular Wonder Woman title, having read the Wonder Girl title with Yara Flor, this is not new reader friendly because you haven't done anything to hook any new reader yet if they aren't already invested. I mean, this is part 3 of 7. We're almost halfway through and we haven't got any action yet. So
Yeah, and sadly, I don't think it's at all connected to Dark Crisis or the Great Darkness, and I'm not expecting that, but it would have been nice to maybe got a little some of those seeds or something, because some sort of connections even to that, or they could have tied it into something larger, and I just don't think that they're doing that. And I like what's leaking out of Doom's doorway? What hints are we getting? What could it possibly be? We already know Medusa's out of there. I'm not like, literally, this isn't even a mystery, because like, what's the mystery? We got a cat that came out. We got a Manticore, and like, and we had Medusa come out. Well, okay, well, big deal. Like, is that those aren't really worldwide threats, at least not that I can see. So, maybe I'm wrong and they're going to become threats, but it still feels like a very small event to me, between three warring, it feels like a political event between three warring tribes that want to unite, and the potential the potential things that could make it feel really great, they've been sidelined. Even Doom's Doorway, the most we've gotten out of Doom's Doorway is a cat, a lion creature, and a cracked door, and Medusa, who's now healed, and yeah, and that's it. I mean, good to see Donna Troy again. She's looking hot. I'm always a Donna Troy fan, but anyways, I'm hoping this picks up. I hope it started with a whimper. I hope it goes out with a bang. 2 issues.
Yeah, I mean, as far as it connecting to Dark Crisis, I mean, this can be over long before Dark Crisis.
Yeah, I know. I
starts.
was just hoping for like a
Yeah.
hint, maybe, or I don't know. That's just the continuity guy in me. I should know better with current DC, but
Yeah, I mean, we have Trial of the Amazons, Wonder Girl Part 1, which is Part 4, and then we get a week off, 2 weeks off. 2 weeks off? No, 2 weeks off. And then we get Wonder Woman 786 as Part 5, and then we get Trial of the Amazons, Wonder Girl number 2, and then Trial of the Amazons number 2, Part 7, which is out at the end of April. So, yeah, it'll be over. But I think, I mean, again, I'm just going by solicits and by the covers of these books. It certainly looks like starting next issue that we start getting some action.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah, maybe it's backloaded with action. Yeah, I mean, the Wonder Woman 786 cover is Yara Flor and Diana like crossing swords on the cover. So yeah, looks good. Yeah, I mean, that being said, I'm for all my nitpicking, I am enjoying this. I am intrigued, but again, I for somebody who hasn't read, like us, who hasn't, read every Wonder Woman title and issue for the last, 2 years, I could see somebody being like, what is this? This is way too slow and plotting, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. All right.
Anything else to add?
No, we'll just to everyone, just come back next week for part 4 of Trial of the Amazons.
Yep, definitely. So, all right, everybody, don't forget to check out our spotlight on the 3rd chapter of War for Earth 3, and then go check out our DC Spotlight episode for all the rest of the books that are coming out today. As always, we appreciate you guys listening and tuning in on YouTube, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you later.
Thank you.